Hello and welcome to this DraftKings preview. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the Premier League games that are happening on the 11th of July. Now there's a 3-game classic slate for this one, and we can expect to see some showdowns as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to run through the 3 games that are on the classic slate first, which are Burnley versus Liverpool, Sheffield United versus Chelsea, and Brighton versus Manchester City, and then we're going to roll through the other 2 games afterwards. So let's get straight into it. So the first game to consider is the Burnley versus Liverpool game. Now for this game, what we would tend to expect is a Liverpool comfortable kind of 1 or 2-0 win. However, of late, Liverpool haven't been too defensively great. We saw them, although they kept a clean sheet against Aston Villa, they were quite poor at the back, and Aston Villa definitely should have scored. And we saw Brighton put a goal past them last week. So in terms of Burnley options, definitely be looking at some of the attackers. We see Dwight McNeil coming in at 6,500. I think I'll definitely be putting him in a few of my teams. I think he will be a quality option as well. We also see the likes of Ashley Westwood, Jay Rodriguez, and Vidra coming in at quite cheaply as well. So if you want some kind of attacking Burnley options, I think those are definitely the guys to go for. Looking at that Liverpool team, the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold has actually had a price decrease. I very much like this, and I think he's a much more playable price now. Just after the restart, his price was up at 9,000, and although he does have a very, very good floor of at least 10 points, then you're considering, well, you're only really actually getting 1 point per 1,000, which is not really ideal when you're looking for just value players. However, his price being dropped down to 7,200 makes him much more playable, as it gives you that extra 1,800 to bring in other players into your team. However, if you are looking for a little bit cheaper of an option, you've got the likes of Andrew Robertson, who's almost 2,000 cheaper. He's actually 1,800 cheaper, coming in at 5,400. I very much do like him as well. Also for Liverpool, we have the likes of Salah. Some people are suggesting that he may not play. I still think that he will. And we also have a fresh Sadio Mane, who didn't play last week against Brighton. So we definitely can see him playing in this game, likely as he is fresh to pick up quite a few goals, even some assists in there, but just generally be a very big attacking presence. We've seen Roberto Firmino not score in his last 17 games, and that really reflects in his price decrease on DraftKings. He's now only about 6,000. He's actually cheaper than Dwight McNeil even. So Roberto Firmino, if you can see him kind of getting out of that form, out of that bad form that he's in, and picking up some goals and assists, a very valuable player to have there. Then we also see the likes of Jordan Henderson, Naby Keita coming in at much lower bracket of between 4,000 and 6,000. Naby Keita coming in at 4,700, and we did see him pick up an assist last week, and we also saw Jordan Henderson pick up a goal. So if these guys end up getting assists or goals again, those guys are likely to send you flying up the leaderboard, as they're so cheap. They won't be highly owned. They allow you to get other big players in, like De Bruyne and Williams, that we'll come on to later, and they'll get plenty of points and value for money there. So those guys definitely something to consider in quite an attacking Liverpool team. So on to the next fixture, and that is Sheffield United versus Chelsea. Now what we would tend to expect here is a Chelsea win. However, Chelsea of late, although they have been getting the results, they've been scraping by. They only just about beat Crystal Palace. They lost to West Ham 3-2. And the defence has just been generally leaky all season. That compared to the fact that they're playing a very, very solid Sheffield United side, who have been up and down since the restart. However, we saw that kind of down come when they didn't have a third centre-back. Sheffield United love to play that 5 at the back with those overlapping centre-backs, and when they played against the likes of Manchester United, we saw them only have 2 centre-backs, which they just couldn't do, and we saw as soon as one of their centre-backs came off against Newcastle, they just got absolutely shredded. But now they have all of their centre-backs fixed. The likes of O'Connell is back, Egan is back in the team after his suspension, so we're likely to see a very, very solid defensive display from Sheffield United here, thus meaning Dean Henderson is a very, very good option for this game. The second cheapest goalkeeper on the slate, likely to face a decent amount of shots from the Chelsea side, could even potentially pick up a win or a clean sheet, or both. That would definitely send you flying up those leaderboard. In terms of attacking options for Sheffield United, Ollie McBurney has been very, very good all season. If he starts, definitely one to consider against quite a weak Chelsea defence. Kepa Arrizabalaga tend to letting in quite a lot of stuff lately, and the defence in front of him hasn't been too great either. That being said, that is because Kante has been missing. Kante is slowly starting to recover and come back into the Chelsea side after a long-term injury. So if he does start in this week, that could definitely restrict Sheffield United's attacking options. The likes of Burge also to be mentioned here. And if Fleck does start, he will be on set pieces. That being said, also Norwood, a very, very good player, loves a good floor. He is one of them players, one of the value players that you should definitely look at. Norwood always coming in between the 5,000 and 6,000, always gets you very, very, very solid points. And if he gets a goal, he can even push up into the sort of 25, 30 point range. That being said, onto the Chelsea side now. Chelsea have, attacking wise, been a very, very good side since the restart. The likes of Willian, the likes of Pulisic have come in and got plenty of assists and goals. Willian has been the perfect DraftKings asset of late because he's on corners, he gets plenty of crosses in, fouls drawn, shots on target, and he's also been getting those attacking returns that he's kind of been lacking throughout the season, and that's why we've seen his price go up so much that he's now the second most expensive player on the slate this week, coming in at 10,600. Still a very, very good option, considering that De Bruyne, I know we'll come on to the Manchester City preview in a moment. However, De Bruyne, just a little preview for that, is likely to be not playing in this game. I'll kind of discuss that a bit later on in the video. But yeah, the Chelsea attacking players, if Ruben Loftus-Cheek plays, I very much do like him as well. A bit cheaper than the likes of Pulisic and Willian. Definitely could come in with assist or a goal. However, he does kind of play that Pogba role of getting the assist to the assist, so that's definitely something to consider there. And in terms of defence, we see Marcos Alonso and Azpilicueta. Even though they're not likely to pick up a clean sheet, we've seen those guys pick up plenty of attacking returns. And if Willian, for some reason, isn't playing, Reece James at the right position, likely to be on corners, so definitely want to consider there. So the Brighton versus Manchester City game, I know I just said that De Bruyne is likely to be out. That's either due to rotation reasons or he's picked up some kind of niggle, but there definitely is some news expecting that he won't be playing. So obviously we can see the lineups beforehand. However, with the way this classic is working, the Manchester City versus Brighton game, or Brighton home to Manchester City, is actually the latest kickoff. Obviously you can change the Manchester City players around, but once you lock in those other players, you won't be able to change them. So I'd sort of drafted teams without Kevin De Bruyne, as I really don't see him playing, and if he does play, I'm sorry. But yeah, in terms of this game, we're really just, as always, looking at Manchester City options. I think this will be a nice, comfortable kind of 3-0. I don't think it will quite be the rampage as it was against Newcastle, as after they lost to Southampton, Manchester City had a bit of something, they had a bit of bite, they had a bit of frustration within them, so they went out and absolutely clattered Newcastle. They'll be a bit more calm down now, and I think against Brighton, it will still be a kind of 3-0 because defensively Brighton haven't quite poor. That being also said, defensively Manchester City haven't been too great either this season. So the likes of Mapai going forward could be very good. Trossard's been picking up a few goals as well, and McAllister on set pieces. Although Gross is now back, like he is the most expensive Brighton asset, and he's on all of their set pieces as well, kind of taking that duty back off of McAllister. So in terms of Manchester City assets, the likes of Yao Cancelo, Zinchenko, those fullback guys, they tend to tick up very nicely during these games. Obviously, you want to get yourself in and around those attacking options. I like the cheaper attacking options, the likes of David Silva, Foden, Bernardo Silva a lot more, because they're almost just as likely to get on the score sheet. Get assists really is their main thing than the other guys, and they also are a lot cheaper in price. So in terms of value for money, I very much do like those guys. De Bruyne, obviously, if he does play, can get you some incredible scores. The likes of Sterling scored last week, very likely to start this game as well. Get a full 90 minutes, that would be wonderful. Morris did start the last game, so if he is starting with De Bruyne isn't, then he's likely to get himself on quite a few corners as well. However, I can see a bit of rotation happening there. The likes of maybe we'll see Sterling, Jesus and Bernardo Silva as the kind of top three for this game. So looking at the Norwich versus West Ham game, pretty simple slate here. Norwich, not really much to talk about. Buendia, the only really player worth considering from that Norwich side. Maybe Max Aarons as well. But other than that, the likes of Timo Pukki hasn't even been really seeing too many minutes. Norwich have kind of given up now on any hope of staying in the Premier League, although they can mathematically stay up. So what we tend to see when teams aren't mathematically able to stay up, they kind of relax and they actually play some good football and end up doing a lot better. However, because there's just a little bit of hope there, I think we'll still see a very, very cagey performance from Norwich. Hernandez, if he plays, also another attacking option. Buendia, really one of the only players I consider from Norwich. That being said, from West Ham, some very, very good options there. Likes of Antonio, I like to put on the captain. Bowen, it will be probably the most expensive player on this slate. On corners, set pieces, loves a shot, loves to cross as well. The likes of Yarmolenko, I do really like as well. Fredericks and Creswell, the left and right back. Or right and left back, sorry. Very good options there. And we can probably likely expect a clean sheet from this one. So Fabianski, clean sheet, save points as well. He loves a save point. And a win, most likely. A nice comfortable 2-0 West Ham here. Get yourself some Antonio exposure. Get yourself a bit of Yarmolenko exposure and some Bowen exposure there. And really just for their midfield, Mark Noble, he's on penalties, so probably one to consider as well. But yeah, the left and right back are probably the other players to consider as well. So the Watford versus Newcastle game, the other game that could be a potential showdown game. So for Newcastle, we're looking at Cleverley and Ritchie, the main two guys. They've actually been very good attacking going forward after the break. For basically most of the season, Newcastle have been struggling. We obviously saw them get battered by Manchester City 5-0, but we can kind of consider that as an anomaly, as Manchester City were just out in rage, absolutely clatting any team they came against after they lost that game to Southampton. So the likes of Almiron, the likes of St. Maximin, definitely ones to consider here. And Newcastle haven't actually been too bad defensively either. So considering that, we can maybe look at Dubravka as well. Although I do like Watford going forward, the likes of Sarr, Welbeck. We've seen kind of Watford come a bit more out of their shell now. They scored 2 goals against a very poor Norwich, but I can expect this game to have a few goals in it as well. So Sarr, Welbeck, Cleverley on some corners, Will Hughes also on some set pieces. That all those guys can get you some quite good exposure. I would quite like to go in for sort of like a 3-3 in this game, so 3 Watford players, 3 Newcastle players. I see this being kind of an all-round kind of game with players from both sides, or quite a few players from both sides, picking up some very good points. Also a very hard game to predict. But in terms of what teams are still fighting for, I think Watford are going to be more up for this, as they're still not mathematically safe, although after that win against Norwich, they're looking much safer than they were the week before. So I think Watford will be very up for this game. Newcastle will chill at the moment. But even that said, after that final battering to Newcastle, they'll probably just want to regain a little bit of form as well. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you around for the next one.